Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm here with a project share, and I altered 3 cups, and they're for a swap that I am part of in Decoupage and More. Judy is hosting a fun little swap where we were to decorate some cups, and then we were also to use a little bit of pink on them just because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and so I did kind of do a vintage style pink on mine. And so I did want to show you guys the original cup. This is what I started off with, and I picked them out just because I had them in my house and I liked the little bit of a texture in them. But I have to tell you a little story on creating these. So my original plan was to put lace to paint them, and I wanted to paint them in this color right here, plaster finish. So I did go ahead and I painted it, and I added lace over it, just some basic lace, and then and I had several layers, and it looked fine, of this chalk paint, and you couldn't see anything. But once I added the lace with the glue, for whatever reason, all of these little things like that said cappuccino, iced, all the little coffee beans, they all came through. Like they interacted somehow with the glue. So I was kind of mad about that. And so then I thought, well, okay, no big deal. I'm going to paint like a darker color over it. And so then I chose this color right here, which is called baby pink. So I thought, well, that'll be cute, a nice baby color pink. And when I painted it, for whatever reason, this pink turned out to be like Pepto-Bismol pink. I'm not kidding you guys. It was, when I looked at the cups, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't live with that color. I'm like, I can't give someone something that reminds me of Pepto-Bismol. So back to the drawing board. And so then I went ahead and I painted over that color pink with ballet slipper. And then I was happy with it. It turned out it's a vintage color pink, but I like it a lot better. I was hoping the baby pink was going to be this light, you know, pale pink, but it obviously wasn't. So, so these cups have seen lots of layers of paint, but I do like how they finally turned out. And so I want to share them with you guys. I also, on them, I put little flowers up at the top. I am going to fill them with goodies. But I did want to show you. So on the insides, I did also finish off the insides. You can see I added a layer of like some satin that came from like a wedding dress that I had, and I watched a tutorial on how to add something like that inside of a box, and it was Amy Love, and it's an older video. If I remember, I will post that in the description box. She had it how to line a box, and so I did watch that so I could figure out how to line the insides of these cups, because I didn't really want anybody to, my swap partner, to see, you know, to see the writing on it. So I did line them, and I love how that looked. It looks nice and finished. And again, on the outside, I told you guys my little process of having to paint these, and so there's still some glue strings. I'm still taking glue strings off. And I don't know if you can really see now that there's been so many layers of paint, but I did at one point have, you know, a basic layer of lace over these before I painted over them, but it just gives it more texture. And this particular one, I did choose to add some rope trim across the top. And then you can also see, if you look on the inside, the rope trim was attached to just some basic, you can just see a little bit of it showing in there, was attached to that, and I just chose to put that on the inside. But then after I did that, I thought it'd be fun to have some sort of trim hanging out the top, and so I added this tulle trim, which comes from Kim's shop, which is Angel Dreams Crafts Kim. And I love how that looks, you know, on the side. And at the end of the video, I'll show what this looks like hanging up. We were also to attach a ribbon or something to hang all of our cups on. So all these do have like some seam binding on the tops of them. This one I also chose to add this rhinestone trim with the pearls, which I love. And this trim, it's some cotton trim that has flowers on it. I'm not quite sure where I got this. My mom gave it to me a long time ago, and I just had a little bit left of it, but I thought this was gorgeous. wrapped around there because I knew I wanted to put this bow, which again, I bought this at Kim's shop also. I wanted to put this bow, and it looks so pretty on top of this trim that, you know, it's elegant but simple. And then on this one, I also, on the bottom, I added some rhinestone trim. And then at the bottom, I did finish it off. I wanted to have kind of a clean bottom, so I glued on another piece of lace over the bottom just to have kind of a finished look on the bottom. But if my swap partner, which if she wants to, she could also take off the mechanism to hang them. She could just snip them off, and then I think they all will stand also. So, and then again, I thought, you know, I'm going to fill it with goodies for her. And then I'm going to stick, you know, the little flower up on top so she can use these flowers to decorate something else in her stash. But I just thought they were kind of pretty, you know, on the tops of the cups. So that was the first one that I did. And then here is the next one. Again, very similar base to this one. But this one I chose to have this little dangle trim. Again, that came from Kim's shop. And then I have some bridal lace right here that I added, and that came from a wedding dress, a semi-vintage wedding dress. It's older. And then this one kind of as my statement piece in the middle, like this one had the bow on it. This one I chose to make a little flower, and I added a little flower in the middle. There's some leaves, and I have some little beads wires here too. That came off of like a hairpin that I added right there. And this one I also added the rhinestone and pearl trim. I just fell in love with that. Again, the rope trim. This one has a little bit different style of trim at the top. At the top I have some satin trim with a little bit of sheer trim. It's a 2-layered trim, and this one I got from Julie at Craft Supplies for You. And I think I forgot to mention it on the other one. I also added a little flower because I had the little plastic cabochons or acrylic cabochons. I added those before I added this trim because I thought, well, I wanted to cover up where my pieces connected just to have a nice finished look. This one had just a little heart cabochon on it, which I don't think I showed that before. That one had a heart cabochon. This one was a flower one. And then after I did that, I'm like, oh, maybe I should add something frilly up at the top, and so that's why there's the little cabochons on these. And this one I have one of those little white flowers. And then this one right here, I love how this one turned out also. This one's beautiful too. This one I used again some trim that I cut off of a wedding dress, and I kind of pieced it around the whole cup. And I think it's stunning. I just love that. And then I added again the same rhinestone and pearl trim at the top, the rope trim. And then this one kind of for my statement piece here, I had this applique, butterfly applique, and I picked that up too, I believe, at Kim's shop. And then this little beaded applique embellishment, and that either came from Kim's shop or also Julie's shop. They both have carried those in the past. And so I have that as kind of my statement piece. And again, this one had a fun little trim. This one has 2 layers, kind of a sheer material, and then tulle trim on that one. And that one came from Kim's shop. And then the other thing I did on all 3 of these up at the tops when I lined them, I did a double layer of the trim that's sticking out the top because I wanted it really nice and fluffy, so you can kind of see all of them. So there's 2 layers of each of those trims because I wanted it nice and fluffy. So, but I do love the look of the little flowers. I think it's such a fun little extra little embellishment to add those to the tops of the cups. So hopefully my partner likes these. And again, I just wanted to thank everybody so much for watching, and I'll go ahead and before I sign off, I will post kind of a picture of what they look like hanging up so you guys can kind of get an idea for that. So again, thanks everybody so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting.